I'm having a crazy hair morning. I can't even tell you. In Central Texas, right now, it feels like, I don't know, I guess the beginning of summer, or Houston. I don't know. I mean, it's sticky. I almost ran the air conditioner last night. I got the frizz going on. So thank you for adjusting to the time change this morning. UT volleyball made it to the Sweet 16, and I'm going. Their game is this morning. So everything is getting pushed up just a little bit so I can get over to Austin to the Gregory Gym and cheer them on to beat Marquette. So I know this is my happy place. This is what I do. So today, your training is about Marie Kondoing your practice. So who's Marie Kondo? Marie Kondo is, well, you can Google her. She's basically the lady that goes, does it spark joy? If it doesn't spark joy, let it go. I have never read her book, total transparency. But I have used this philosophy in, 2 giant moves from city to city. And when my father passed away in 2015, they had this big house and it was full of stuff. And I'm the only girl in my family. My brothers were like, we're not really interested in all the stuff. So Marie Kondoing was like, okay, I've got my 4th grade report card. Does it spark joy? Not really. Let it go. I think I've even told the story. I found my little brother's baby teeth, boop, let it go. So it's really important that I do it this time of year because my caseload kind of slows down. I think it's a good time just because we're all getting our brains around the new year, new you. And I don't know, we can do it a little bit at a time. So what I'm going to do for you guys this morning, now the podcast is going out tonight as well. Texas Counselors Creating Badass Business podcast episode 11 is going to address the same thing, but it's more in, I'm just telling you stuff. This is I'm getting to show you stuff. So that's what I love to do in this group. I love to screen share with you guys. So there's still time to join the training this morning if you want to jump on the Zoom call. Remember, the Zoom call stays the same. It's in your Kate Walker Training login profile. If you're watching the replay, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And you're watching it from your Kate Walker Training profile as well. And this will probably be filed under systems to scale your practice. Because if you're going to grow, and you will, because you're awesome and amazing and your community needs you, you're going to grow, and you can't just keep your Dropbox looking like, your closet, basically. And maybe you have lovely closets. I don't know. So let me pull this over here. And I'm going to make this bigger. And I'm going to share my screen. All right. So sharing what I hope you're seeing is my Dropbox. Dropbox is a file storage, cloud storage. It's just like Google, except it's not, right? So Dropbox, Google, I use Google Drive and I use Dropbox. I can't really tell you which one I prefer. It's sort of one of those things when you have something for a long time, you tend to stay with it. So just for the purposes of what we're doing today, I am not going through anything confidential. So the Dropbox that I have this morning contains no protected health information. So this is not a HIPAA compliant workspace, whatever, Dropbox file cloud storage, okay? Not HIPAA compliant. So this is great for all of the stuff you would normally have in one of those giant 3-drawer file cabinets. So I'm going to draw your attention to, this is just the Kate Walker Training General Organizational Center. This is what it looks like at the end of the year for me. It kind of looks like my closet. So the folders I have here, the one I want to draw your attention to is Archive. So Archive is where all of my wonderful ideas, all my shiny objects, all the things that I wanted to do. Maybe some of them I did, but they just didn't sell well. This is the time of year where I go through all of my courses, all of my workshops, all of my, maybe resources, if I have some PDFs or some eBooks, things that I tried to sell. and I was trying to get paid for that. And I'm going to show you my spreadsheet in just a minute as well. This is the time of year where I Marie Kondo it. So it's not only does it not spark joy, does it bring me profit, right? Because one of the things that we know, folks can get overwhelmed by choice fatigue. I'm one of those people that I'm like, I go into a store, a big old department store, and I'm like, it's too much stuff. I used to love this place called Charming Charlie's, because you'd go into Charming Charlie's and you'd be like, well, there's the red section or the blue section and I'm talking about colors, folks. Like if I need it, like it was right at Market Street where my old office was. So if I wore something orange to work and I'm like, ooh, I could really use a little cute little orange necklace, I'd go over to Charming Charlie's and I'd be like, orange, there, necklace. Thank you, $9. See ya, have a nice day. I do the same thing with shoes. I don't like a lot of choices. I like to be guided to a choice and then pluck, I pick it up and it's mine. So when I have come to this time of year, I'm going to show you my archive. There's a lot of stuff. You'll see a lot of 40-hour course. I used to have something called a certified supervisor instructor. Got rid of that. I used to have a very complicated learning management system, got rid of that. You'll see there's this one. I was going to do a VA service, but I wanted to remind myself it was a terrible idea. So that's what I labeled my folder, just in case I ever wanted to revisit that. This is my very, 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 very first freebie, Facing Your Facebook Phobia, and it's all in there. You can see that says 2012. It's 10 years old. So you can see this archive is pretty, I was going to have something where I contacted all 50 states. I had a 40-hour training video. Anyway, a lot of shiny objects, a lot of what I thought at the time were great ideas, but you just can't be married to your ideas. You can't be married to your words. If you go through a doc program, you know that, right? You can't be married to your research. You have to be able to let these things go. If you've ever written a book, you can't be married to those paragraphs and those ideas there. That's, the editor's going to tell you to take it out. They're going to tell you, it's too much. You're being too wordy. I can't understand it. You're not getting to the point. So it's not personal when you look at something in your practice, especially an out of the therapy room thing that you came up with. It doesn't mean it wasn't good. It doesn't mean it wasn't brilliant. It just means there wasn't a market for it, or you couldn't market it well enough to attract your ideal client. And we'll talk about why in a second. So, somebody said this is kind of compared to a Canadian restaurant in, I don't know, West Texas. It may be a brilliant Canadian restaurant. I love Canadian food, whatever that is. I went to high school in Michigan, so I assume I ate a lot of it. And there may not be a market for a wonderful Canadian restaurant in West Texas. I don't know, maybe there is. But then that brings us to our second point, which is, do you have the time to market it, right? So I'm going to stop the share. And so when we think about starting things outside of the therapy room, you have to have time to market it. And I have a lot of folks who come to me and they want to do a project, or they want to do a shiny object, or they want to do a passion project. And I want to help them through it. But then I'll always ask them, okay, when do you have time to work on this or market this? It'll be like, Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, or Sundays are all mine. I'm like, oh no, right? That's not good. That means you have 6 days where you're going to forget where you were in the project. And on the 7th day, you're going to have to relearn. And then finally, in about 30 minutes in, you're going, oh yeah, I remember, this is where I was. I was building an email list, or I was building a landing page for my website. This is something, when you do a passion project, you have to have time during the work week so you can use your work brain to work on it. So the second thing I want you guys to think about when you're Marie Kondoing your practice is freeing up space. And how do we free up space? Well, there are 2 ways. Number one, It's getting rid of difficult clients, the ones who are litigious, the ones who maybe even threaten you or make you feel bad about how you're counseling, or are just constantly leaving you with kind of this self-doubt. And two, get rid of the clients who you love that are amazing, but that need that, late cancel all the time. And, you hate to charge them that late cancel fee because, they need you and it's such good rapport and blah, blah, blah. Folks, both of those things are countertransference. Both of those things are your issue. Now, the issue with the difficult client, there's some legal problem there. There are some legal problems there. If you attended the Texas Supervisor Coalition consultation group in September with amazing attorney Kenda Dalrymple, she talked about basically, if you have a difficult client, refer them out, because it will cost you your insurance, your time away from clients, which is money. This is not something, because what you do internally, you end up trying to subconsciously make them happy, right? So that's not good clinically. And then if nothing works and they're super litigious and they file a complaint, well, there you go. You got to shut down your office to answer the subpoena and go sit in the court and file, go to the board. So she says, and she defends LPCs, it's not worth it. So if you can ethically, and the American Counseling Association gives us great guidelines for referring out clients, referring them out, giving them the 3 referrals. I know that there's still the possibility of the abandonment complaint, right? And that's something, again, you can reach out to these wonderful attorneys, Laura Clement, Kenda Dalrymple. There are lots of great attorneys out there that can walk you through this, but free up your mind, free up your schedule, and pass these folks on, right? Because you're too important to lose to carrying this stuff home. And even if you have a wonderful day and you help tons of people, you remember this client, right? Now over here with the one you think, oh my gosh, we have such great rapport. And oh gosh, she's got 18 kids and I can't really charge her for a no-show because little Johnny gets sick all the time. Same thing. Because if you wouldn't cut your difficult client slack, then why are you cutting this person slack? This person is literally costing you money when they late cancel, when they no-show, right? And you're not charging them your full fee. Get rid of them, right? I know it's hard. Offer them 3 referrals. Do what you would do to protect your boundaries. This person's pushing your boundaries. This person's pushing your boundaries. They just feel different. This could free up an entire day for you, right? A day where you could work on those passion projects and really give it the effort that it needs. So Marie Kondo, difficult clients and clients that you love, but are basically taking money from you. Okay. I know it's the morning. I'm a little salty in the morning. Now, how do you know which day to give up, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Let me see. Oh gosh, I've got questions. Hold on. Hey, Nakia. You remember Charming Charlie's? I miss Charming Charlie's. Yes, and being married to the idea, I had to give up some things that I just really thought were, oh my gosh, it's going to save the world. And now here's what you do with those. So once you Marie Kondo it's not that it goes away. It becomes an amazing marketing tool, right? If you've watched me and we've talked about 10-minute consultations, you know that every time you get off the phone with a potential client, if you haven't been able to convert them to an actual client, either because it wasn't a good fit or, something was not matching with cost, schedule, specialty, things like that, you still have the obligation to create a raving fan, someone who, even if they don't book a session with you, will go to their friends and family and say, oh my gosh, this person is a jewel of a resource. They're an amazing expert in our community. How do you do that? Well, at the end of every 10-minute consultation, you direct them back to your website to all of those resources that maybe those were your shiny objects. There's a resource on the achievebalance.org website called Achieve Balance Today. It's an ebook. I don't know, it's like 30 pages long. Yeah, I tried selling it for a while, didn't sell. Now it's a resource. People can go to my website, download the whole 30-page whatever. It's fine because it's static. I never have to update it. We call that an evergreen resource. It never gets old. And they can pass that along to people. It's got my phone number. It's got my logo. It's got my everything on it. So if somebody wanted to contact me for an appointment, they've got this amazing resource either in their hand or in their hard drive. Same thing with, I've done videos. I've done, for Kate Walker Training, there was paperwork I was trying to sell. Now I just give it away. So you don't have to charge for every little thing when it could be a marketing resource. And if you've heard me talk about Mike Michalowicz, I always say his name wrong, The Pumpkin Plan, get that book, read that book, and it will explain why when you divide your efforts among 100 little things that aren't really bringing you a lot, you are pulling resources away from the big thing, one big thing that could bring in a lot of resources. So in our case, for counselors, a lot of times it's our actual clinical time, right? That clinical time one-on-one with a client brings us way more profit, peace of mind, zone of genius than say our book that's selling for $20 and we sold one copy last year, right? So book would be a little pumpkin. Our therapy hour would be a big pumpkin, right? So when you drill down into your numbers and you start looking at, and I'm going to explain it two ways, right? We talked about the products that aren't selling. Those can become marketing resources or resources to create raving fans. But the time when we get rid of the difficult client and the client we're counter-transferred and bonded to, but that is not good for our checkbook, then what we can do is actually free up a day. So how do you know which day to free up? Well, you look at your numbers, and I'm not talking complicated, right? I want this like an 8th grader could read it and explain it. You're going to look at how Monday at 5 o'clock compares to Tuesday at 5 o'clock compares to Wednesday. These are client hours. I'm assuming that you see clients at 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Which days do you have consistent attendance? And don't try to blame this on your client. Don't try to say, well, this client is super consistent. This client isn't. I'm talking about if you are still seeing people at 9 a.m. on a Saturday and you're like, ooh, gosh, that slot always gets no-showed, get rid of it. Same thing for if you look at Monday and you're like, well, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 7 o'clock consistently no-show. Then if you've got one person at 4 o'clock, move them, get them off Monday, make Monday your work day. Marie Kondo, having clients on that Monday, move it over and turn Monday into your work day. I challenge you to Marie Kondo your schedule. I challenge you to find slots that aren't profitable. And when you find a day, like let's say you're still seeing clients on Friday and you notice, oh my gosh, Friday after 12, all my clients seem to no show, get rid of it. Even if you're able to free up a half day, you've made great progress into Marie Kondoing, freeing up time to develop those passion projects into something that at least will get your full effort to market and do well. So Nakia's asking about, what about clients who prepay for several sessions and late cancel? Well, if they prepaid, then it's really nothing off of you, right? They've bought the time, they can do anything with it. So you take that out of oh gosh, my words are escaping me. I almost said kitty, but that's like a poker term. Don't use that. But if they have that pool of money there and there's $300 sitting there and they no show, and you charge $100 a session, right? If they no show one of those, now they have $200 in there. You debit it, they can no show all three of those, right? And oh, well, when they come back in and say, haven't I prepaid? You say, yeah, but you no showed me 3 times. I charge for no shows. So that prepaying for sessions, that gives you 2 pieces of data, right? Number one, you could say, okay, well, that 5 o'clock time that this person no shows, it's prepaid, so I'm still getting a profit. Or you could say, gosh, I think this 5 o'clock time is really difficult for people to get to. right? I may want to just get rid of that. And of course, this is very flexible data. You may want to try it with another client, but we know at least for that client at that time, it's not working. So I bet if you did this for a year, right? So this is lots of 5 o'clocks, then you'd start to see a pattern. So let me show you. Do I make up? What do you mean, Nakia? And I watch. I'm watching you type. Okay, well, Nakia's, oh. I'm not sure I know what you mean. Talking about the above, do I make up sessions? No, if they've prepaid it, they've prepaid for my time. You know what I mean? It's like a hotel. Like if I late cancel in a hotel, I can't say, well, can you still give me your room in a month? They're going to say no, because you prepaid for the time. It's gone. It's ours now. All right. So I'm going to show you something that does not look like something an 8th grader could understand. This is how my brain works. So I'm not going to apologize. But this is how I do my numbers. Yes, I have QuickBooks, and I'm not showing you again, no protected health information here. So let's share this thing. Boom. All right. Now, this is how I look at my numbers for things. This was 2021. I'll even show you. Nope, I'm going to stick with 2021. So 2021, I had several products up at the top here. And, it's hard to tell from looking at these numbers which ones sold and what didn't. So I did this kind of handy dandy little chart here. And let me explain it to you. So it's a scatter plot, something, I don't know. I didn't do great in geometry, but Excel does it for me. So what you can see with this little chart here is the orange dot is income. That's how much money I make. And the blue dot is how many units I sold. Okay. And so you're not going to see that dot budge much because the numbers over here, I've never sold 5,000 units of anything. So it's going to be teeny tiny. But what I want you to see, there are spaces where the dots are super far apart. So very few units sold, big profit. And there are places where the dots are close together, little tiny units, little tiny profit. And then some places where they are just stuck right on top of each other, right? So what this tells me is units, how many units that I had to sell to make a profit. Now, profit is relative. It's really just income. It's not with expenses, but you get the idea. So we've got this item here where selling a few units gains me a lot of profit. You've got this unit here, and I'll just pick this one, that's selling a few units really doesn't do a lot for me. So this is actually my one-on-one consultations with people, right? When people ask me for coaching and business things, right? And so I look at that and I'm like, yeah, I could put a lot more effort into that. I could put a lot more effort into the marketing and things like that. But wow, look at this big pumpkin. Man, if I really put in some effort into that, let's see what that is. I bet you guys know it's the 40-hour training. So if I put in a lot of effort into the 40-hour training and I make it the best 40-hour training in Texas and I market the hell out of it, I'm going to get more than if I say, let's pull, what's another one? Ooh, what's this teeny tiny one? Oh, I don't know if y'all remember, I used to do something called the Badass Business Meeting. Yeah, that didn't go over well. And again, it could be that it was something that wasn't as shiny as I thought it was, or it could be something that I just didn't take the time to market it. But this will really show you where your big pumpkins are. Now, if you are joining me in the mastermind group, we still have a couple of spots left. this is the kind of stuff that I'm going to teach, right? Every week that you're in the mastermind group with me and your compadres, we teach, we learn. I teach you all my tricks. I don't hold anything back, because I know people have questions about this, and I know they want to know how to determine which products are selling and all those things. And that's why I love doing these trainings for Step It Up, because you guys are awesome. And membership is going to grow you into amazing providers. But if you want to drill down into the stuff and you want me to really teach you, then I really encourage you to reach out to support@katewalkertraining.com. Let's set up a phone call. Let's look at that mastermind group. They start in January. I have, I think, 2 spots left. They're small groups. If you're interested at all, let's get to work. Let's do this stuff. All right, guys, I have to go. I have to go cheer for UT. Let's beat Marquette. Let's make it to the Final Four. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon.